how are you, my friend?
Doing all right. How about you?
It's
How you
great
doing, Phil?
to see you. Thanks for coming all the way here to 22nd Street.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, San Diego ain't too far. Hop, skip, and a jump.
That's true, and people should know that who want to go fishing out of San Diego. It's like an hour and a half, right?
Exactly. It's super easy, and guys in San Diego too, if they want to come catch sea bass or all that good stuff that goes on up here, it's right there.
Have you been to this landing before?
One time, and
That's
I didn't
it.
go fishing. I just came down with Robyn actually, and we cruised around. She showed me around the neck of the woods here, took me around to all the other landings. So that's the only other time I've been here, though.
So you open the door, people are going, "Who's Robyn?" So
Yeah.
I guess what we should say, because she's going to join us on the second half of this podcast.
Right, yep.
She'll be joining us, and
Yeah.
you two are an item, right?
Yeah, we are. That's my lady.
Robyn Yoshihiro.
Robyn Yoshihiro.
And now you're gonna be on the Constitution. We're gonna talk a lot about the Constitution right now. She's gonna be where?
She's going to be on the Poseidon this year.
Nice.
She's going to be on the other boat. Keith Dennett, he owns the Constitution and both the Poseidon. So she'll be on that boat this year, being a second captain over there for Keith, fishing that bluefin in the dark and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah, so she's super fired up. She's got a spot locked in there this year.
All right, perfect. All right, let's tear into this season, because there's a lot of people out there. They're watching. They want to know. They're seeing like it's a little slower this year, and some people call me and they're like, "Oh, it's not going to be the same year." And, and I mean, you get that spotter plane information. There's plenty of fish.
Yes,
we're in a different cycle. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're definitely in the middle of a change of going on. Water temp has been a lot cooler this year so far. We had fish the last 3 years prior to this that we were catching that fish in February at 100 miles, and this year it's definitely on a slower schedule. I don't think it's going to be like a terrible season by any means. I just think it's going to be a little different. I don't think that bluefin's going to go anywhere, that's for sure.
It doesn't seem like it.
But I think as the season progresses, we're just going to see things later in the year. I think we're going to have a long season that's going to drag out to later in the season, which is okay with us because we go down and do that Mag Bay stuff in October. So that's gonna be nice, because last couple years we've been down there. We've had good fishing to start. We're down there before all that long range fleet starts getting down there, and we have the first kind of cracks at the ridge and that yellowtail fishing on the beach and all that stuff. And last year the water was still a little warm by the time we got down there. So this year I'm hoping that it's just game on by the time we get there, which it should be. And that place is, I mean, for whoever's fished the ridge, I don't know. You guys fish the ridge. Have you fished the ridge?
Yep.
I mean, you know how insane that place.
What a phenomenal fishery, isn't it?
It's something else. I mean, push the anchor over and you get on the right spot. It's like you want to fly line a bait, you catch a yellowfin or swim through a wahoo or anything like that. You're like, nah, I feel like catching a nice yellow or maybe grouper, or we even catch those big sheephead out there.
Yeah.
Like we had a stop one time, we pushed the anchor over and it was like 2 guys got wahoo bit on the fly line, and then we had like a 30-40 pound yellowfin. Couple guys dropped down on that same anchor job within the first 30 minutes, and we got calico bass flying over the rail with wahoo and yellowfin and I mean, you name it, it's down there. Yeah, it's awesome.
So what do you guys do? Do people fly down there to Laredo or something?
Yeah, exactly. So we have it all set up. Everything's all inclusive in your ticket price. Yeah. The only thing it doesn't include, obviously, is your airfare, your Mexican fishing license, and a gratuity for the crew. But, I mean, as far you get a one-night stay in a hotel in Laredo.
That's nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's included in your ticket price. And then you get breakfast at the hotel the next morning. We then have our fleet of shuttles there ready to grab you guys, and they shuttle you across into San Carlos. You guys jump on a ponga, get on the boat. We take you guys fishing for 4 days, 5 days, whatever trip that you decide to get on. We have a handful of trips, And then we go fishing on our trip, kill it, all is good, and we come back. All your fish is vacuum packed, 50 pounds of vacuum sealed fish. If we have a good catch, that's included in your ticket price. We have all the tackle for you, the wahoo lures, the trolling lures. You get 2 rods. You get a heavy rod and a lighter rod.
Oh, so you don't even have to bring tackle.
No.
Wow.
But for the guys that do want to bring their tackle, we do have a deal where if we usually give ourselves a couple days to get the boat ready and get everything 110% to go before we head down. And a lot of the times, like our regular charter groups that come down there with us every year, they throw their stuff on the boat so they don't have to fly with it.
Oh, that's great.
And we put it all away in separate trip orders, so whatever trip you're on, it goes in its own storage spot,
man.
rod tubes and everything.
Dude,
And
that is awesome.
we bring your gear home for you as well, so we let you know when the boat comes in and your gear is ready to go, boom, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, as easy as can be.
That is a fantastic service you guys are providing. I love that.
Yeah, it gives the guys the long-range experience without having to do the trek down and the trek back, dealing with weather, whatever. They get to enjoy themselves in a hotel, get the whole experience of, like, cruising on a ponga, coming out on the ponga and the shuttles, and just the experience. The fishing's just a cherry on top.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a cool experience for sure.
Even that experience at Laredo, which is one of my favorite parts of Baja, because it's a cool town, but it's maintained that small town feel.
Yeah,
it's right?
super, super laid back. Yeah. It's really, really nice, quiet. It's a spot for everybody too. There's a little bit of nightlife there, but nothing like if you were to go to like Cabo San Lucas or Puerto Vallarta, stuff like that. So it's got the small town, like you were saying, the really laid back, relaxing, just come and enjoy yourself kind of vibe to it,
Absolutely. Yeah. What is the time period of those trips?
So it's from October 8th is our first trip, and I want to say mid-November. We come home right before Thanksgiving, which we only have one trip left that's got spots on it.
Really?
We have 5 spots left on trip number 1, which is departing on October 18th. So
these things have become very popular.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Like we're not even over with our trip yet for the first couple ones we did, and people are already chomping at the bit. How do I book next year? How do I book next year? Which is, if you guys weren't able to get on the boat this year, we already have our 2024 schedule opened up for Mag Bay for next year. So you yourself or anybody that's been dying to get on one of those trips.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, if you guys can't make it on this one, we have 5 spots left on our first trip, and that's the only trip that we have available right now. We do have a trip number 5. It's open for charter or like big groups, But trip number 1, we need about 5 more people, and then we're taking bookings for the 2024 Mag Bay season already.
Have you thought about extending that season? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does, and it all depends on the people that want to come with us. Like we're not gonna kill ourselves and try to stay down there to take 5 guys fishing. Then we're paying to put the boat out, and which we love fishing. We'll try to do anything we can and everything we can to get that boat moving every single day that we can. But it's also the thing of like, after the San Diego season, crews are already tired.
Yeah, right. You guys are beat up.
Yeah, and then they're stuck down in Mag Bay for another month and a half, and they're just itching to get home.
Right. Yeah, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas.
Christmas is coming up. Everybody wants to go spend time with the family, which I totally get. But at the same time, that fishing down there is just insane. When I get down there, I'm like, oh, okay, this is living.
Oh, my God,
85 degrees, board shorts. It's awesome.
It's so awesome.
You can't beat it.
So from where you leave from? You're leaving from Mag Bay, right?
Yeah, we're leaving from San Carlos, Mag Bay.
How long of a run before you're fishing? You're fishing right away.
Oh, we're fishing. Right? We've done a little bit of bottom fishing and stuff like that in the bay, but from the time you guys get on the boat, I'd say roughly there's really good yellowtail fishing right outside on the beach there. I'd say 3 hours. A lot of the times you're fishing within 3-4 hours, and that yellowtail fishing on the beach is we're the only boat that we've since we've been going down there, we're the only boat we see doing it.
Wow.
And it's screen fillers of all you want: yo-yo jig, surface iron, fly line baits.
Best yellowtail bite fishing you've ever seen? Got to be, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good, and what's nice too is like it gives, it's not like the tackle backbreakers where you're catching 30-40 pounders and that's it. You know, you have your standard islands fish, what we call up here, Coronado Islands, your standard, 12 to 18 pounders mixed in, and then you get, you know, your 30 to 40. We've even had 45 pounders down there on the yo-yo jig, and it's just, you know, it's Southern Baja yellowtail fishing. You know,
my God, that sounds
doesn't
good.
get any better.
No, and the fact that you're making a 3-hour run and experiencing long range fishing, that's the beauty of flying in there.
Yep.
And getting on the boat. You don't have to, you know, take that long ride down.
Exactly.
You don't have to slug it out going home.
And not only that, too, the food we have, our chef on the boat, he went to culinary school in Spain for 4 years.
Oh, my God.
And we have all the freshest seafood down there. We get those big chocolate clams,
Oh,
fresh
God.
scallops. I mean, guys are coming up, hey, you want scallops, you want clams, we get fresh octopus. I mean,
You're talking about the local Mexicans?
yeah, the Pongas,
they take good care of you guys, right?
yeah. We bring them a bunch of money, because even then, like, we have passengers like, can I get more of this stuff? Can I get? And we're like, let us make a phone call for you. And they see a Ponga come rolling up, and they're kind of scratching their head. It's like, no, this is the deal.
This is Mexico,
you know,
right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, from the minute you get on the boat, we're throwing out spreads of clams and pokey and big shrimp. We get those big blue shrimp down there.
Yeah,
insane.
they even taste different.
Oh yeah, and I mean they're big ones. You know, for you've been down there, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean the food, the seafood, the whole scene, the whole everything, and the fishing is just an absolute cherry on top.
God almighty, it sounds so good. Have you done that before, Robyn?
Not yet. I hope to experience it this year.
All right, we'll talk about that when you get on. That sounds so
exactly.
good. And the interaction with the guys on the Pongas, that must be a lot of fun for you. Do you speak any Spanish?
Yeah, I speak Spanish. Like, not completely fluent, but I can get by. Yeah, I know how
Más
to.
camarones.
Sí, por favor.
Langosta también.
Exactly. Necesitas más chocolate clams.
There you go. That must be so bitchin'. And it's so cool to hear you describe that phone call, and then all of a sudden here comes the Ponga.
Yeah.
You know, like here comes the fast food delivery service, right?
Exactly. And it's funny sometimes, you know, because we'll get on a schedule with those guys. A lot of the times, like, we have, like, okay, so we'll need this many kilos to get us through this many trips. And we kind of work it out with the guys that, okay, I need this Ponga, this guy with the shrimp, I need this guy to meet us here at this time. So when we buy the shrimp, we'll say, hey, I'll meet you here in 5 days or X amount of days. And sometimes it's funny because we'll be coming tight on the anchor, you know, because we don't have a dock down there. It's all, we're on the anchor.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, that's why the Ponga comes out to you. It's pretty cool. But sometimes, like, we'll be just getting the anchor down, and our passengers are still on the boat getting ready to unload, and there's a fleet of Pongas just marching at the boat. It's pretty funny, but they're all, oh my God, are we getting boarded right now? What's going on? Should I be scared? No.
Relax.
Exactly. They're bringing all the good stuff right now. If anybody wants anything, now's your time to speak up.
Man, just talking to you for this little bit of time, I'm telling you right now, not so much the fishing, but your personality and the kind of guy you are, I would love to spend time with you on the boat.
Absolutely.
It's really great.
You know where I'll be at all summer long.
I'm going to come run you down.
All right,
sure.
Perfect.
So give me a typical day. Do you fish at night down there when you're fishing the Mag Bay trips or not?
We can, and you know, I mean,
you're on
a lot of the times, we're on the anchor, and there's always crew up on watch, you know, and like we'll have little swim throughs of yellow in the dark and stuff like that, which a lot of the times our people are so beat up from fishing wahoo, and I mean it's just constant action all day long.
Yeah.
There's never a dull moment in the day down there where we're not catching fish. So I mean a lot of the times, like, you know, the sun goes down, it turns into cocktail hour for the guys, and then they get a giant seafood dinner fed to them, and it's just like for a lot of them.
Time to sleep.
But I will say a lot of the time, like, we get on a spot and we put the anchor down for our nighttime deal. 10 out of 10 times you wake up and there's yellowfin tuna on you.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of the times we tell our guys, like, okay, guys, get your cocktails going and get your butt to bed, because come 3:30, 4 o'clock, it's wide open yellowfin.
Really?
That's where we do a lot of our tuna fishing damage, is like right, you know, the hour or two before gray.
Yeah.
And then once the gray comes, you're still picking at them, but I mean, it is it is like in the corner, wide open, like you would see on, fishing up here with that smaller grade fish. But for the most part, they're 30 to 40 pound fish. So it's and just drop a jig over the side, and it's all you want.
Oh my god!
All you want till the sun comes up.
Really?
Like, we do all of our damage. Not all of it, but most of our damage on our yellowfin is done down there in the nighttime, early morning. 3:30 to 5 a.m., 4 to 5 a.m. kind of deal, and it's all you want.
And then you're free to go look for other species.
Yeah,
right?
And a lot of the time we mainly do a lot of our focusing on wahoo. A lot of the guys that come down with us, they want their big wahoo, their big ridge wahoo. You know, sure you're familiar with the ridge wahoo. Seem to be a lot more standout than the rocks and stuff like that. So everybody that comes down, they're really sought out after that big wahoo. And we're fishing 3 hours on the beach right there outside of Santa Maria Bay and all that stuff, and Cabo Lazaro and stuff on that point right there. And by the time we're all wrapped up with that, the sun's down, we've done our damage on yellowtail, and we're motoring up towards the ridge all night, get our spot, get our anchor down. We do our yellowfin damage, and then it's the last 2 days are really kind of focused on that wahoo. And sometimes it's biting, sometimes it's not. And then, sure, the marlin fishing down there.
Oh my god! It's like I was going to bring that up because a lot of sport boat guys don't talk about it or don't.
We don't
but
really.
It is so insane, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tell everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, you've got everybody on the boat bit, right?
Yeah, there's been times where, the wahoo fishing hasn't been up to par and stuff like that, and we need action, everybody's coming down, they want action, and we want action too. I'm in the business of killing, not chilling.
Right,
exactly.
Exactly.
So it's like if we could go spend a day doing the marlin thing, and it's funny too because the couple times we have done it, everybo's like, oh, marlin, like really,
right. Until
really?
It happens,
and then you turn around and you got 17 marlin hanging, and everybody's like, okay, let's do this for the rest of the day. We're cool with this,
right?
Able to catch them on surface irons, and poppers. There was one instance where we had a crew member, and he was from Puerto Vallarta, so he was kind of new to the whole fishing thing, and marlin are flying around, and I'm running around, and I stop, and what is this guy doing? And he literally has a flat fall on the transom, and he's jigging a flat fall about 10 feet under the surface, and there's 2 or 3 marlin coming out from underneath the boat, swatting at it, trying to grab it, and he hooked one. I was like, dude, we're supposed to be working right now, but I even do it too. I get a little,
help yourself, right?
You see a giant bird school, marlin flying out of the water. Like, I'm a jig fisherman. I love fishing the surface iron. I'm like, marlin on the surface iron?
Come on.
Yeah,
you gotta do that, right?
You can't tell me I'm not gonna cast. Like,
oh my god,
it's insane.
So when you roll up on a spot of that, how many fish are you seeing? Like,
it depends.
50?
It depends. There's sometimes there's a small pot of them. Maybe a dozen of them, 5 of them, and then I've even seen full-fledged foamers.
Really?
Yeah, I don't even know how many marlin are in there, but a lot, and it's full-fledged. Essentially a foamer.
So do they come
marlin.
to the corner? Like if you throw a scoop, do they ever do that?
Maybe. We don't really chum for them, It's just pitch and hook baits into them or jigs. We've never really thrown dippers in their face like that, but I don't see why they... Right? Yeah, they've already got their own school of bait corralled. Right. I think they're kind of locked on that, and it's more so getting the bait in front of their face kind of deal, but... You never know. Maybe one of these trips we'll throw a couple dippers at once.
Get some video for me. If
yeah,
you do, man.
right.
That sounds so bitchin'.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing down there is just insane.
Yeah, it sure sounds like
it's insane.
How about like grouper fishing or
we do.
Cabria?
We do. We get those big broomtails. We've had a couple snowies. The cabria fishing inside the bay.
Do you do that?
Yeah, we fish a little bit in the bay. It's more so our bait making time.
Yeah.
And we'll have a few guys that mess around with a Colt Sniper or something in the rocks, bottom bouncing it, or around the fuel dock. And we've caught little baby cabria in the bay, It's still pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's but the grouper fishing, like the broomtails, we've had a lot of broomtails there, and it's funny too. A lot of our broomtails come when we're fishing that yellowtail on the beach. Roll over a big boomer school yellowtail and getting on it on the sonar. Okay, finally, let him go, guys. And guys, oh my God. I'm like, oh, that's one of those 40-pounders, and it's a 35-pound cabrera
How
or
bitchin' is
broomtail.
that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's a whole. I mean, fishing the beach there, you never really, even fishing the ridge, you never really know what you're gonna
get.
What
The
you're
variety
gonna
is
get.
so
You know,
incredible.
like we've had guys that are. And that's why too, like our fly line fishing down there, like when we're on the ridge proper, it's 130 is what we fly line with, and
Oh wow.
nothing cares. And the reason we do that is if you get a wahoo bite, it's not just gonna,
Yeah.
so better than taking away from your bites fishing wire. And the yellowfin, even on those anchor jobs, we don't really throw any chum down there either.
You don't have to.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this looks like a good spot. Put some lines in the water, and it's like fresh one. And yellowfin have no problem eating 130.
Yeah.
130 with a 4 to 6/0 circle hook, and it's all you want. You could pull as hard as you want too, because you pull the hook on a 6/0 circle hook. You're the Hulk or something.
Yeah,
Something's going on there.
exactly.
Something's going on there, but it's incredible fishing
How
down
did you
there.
learn to fish this area? By doing, or did someone teach you? Did you have a mentor or somebody that?
Mag.
Yeah.
I've been fishing. I've been working with Keith Dennett for the last 6 years now, and I did the PV thing with him. And
How was that?
It's cool. It's definitely, I think that's kind of why we've shifted our gears towards Mag Bay a little more, because the yellowfin fishing down there, is everybody knows, is Cowtown. You know, like that's if you want the shot at a 300+ pound yellowfin tuna, that's where you're gonna go to do it.
Right.
And over time, like our guys that are same charter groups that have done it with us for years and years and years, they've had their shots and they've caught their 300-pounders, and they, guys just started losing interest in it. And we were just kind of thought of us, what else could we do? And every year we'd be taking the boat down to Puerto Vallarta. That's our crew trip for the year, you know. So we're doing little maintenance, fixing stuff, making stuff pretty again. But we get around to that ridge, and that's our okay. Let's put some wahoo lures in the water. We usually fish the ridge for a day, then we'll spend a night in Cabo and keep going on. So it kind of came up with this thing of like, let's figure out a way to run trips out of Mag Bay.
Yeah.
Like that fishing's insane down there.
Yeah.
Like it's just insane. That's the only way to put it.
Yeah,
So we kind of came up with this trip, and PV was fun. It was fun while it lasted, but
you're pretty much focused on that one species when you're down there in PV, right?
Yeah, that's
whereas the ridge,
and who knows, maybe this year, like we were talking about earlier, with things are changing right now.
Right.
Maybe that big yellowfin shows up on those lower banks like it used to.
Like it used to do.
So
it
could very well be we spend 2 days wahoo fishing and 2 days cow yellowfin fishing. It's all just. You never know, but there's so much variety there, from the yellowtail. We've had Richter Dorado fishing down there, the yellowfin fishing, the wahoo, the marlin, the bottom fish, the trigger fish down there. That's how we make all our ceviche.
Oh yeah,
it's all you want, trigger fish down there. I mean, just the bottom fishing to the pelagics to the everything down there. It's nothing but constant action. So it's like. Yeah, it was really cool to stoke the people out on their yellowfin of a lifetime, But if we could open that up to 100 different other species and just nothing but good times, an easy fly down, fly out, long range experience.
Yep.
That's what we're shooting
for. Man, you
for.
nailed it.
So
those 5 spots aren't going to be around for too much longer. I don't think people hear this.
Yeah, I don't think so. So. It's one of those things. If you can't get on this year, we do have our 2024 schedule for Mag Bay is opened up.
And people can also get on the Constitution out of San Diego. We'll bring it back to San Diego
now.
We're talking about a cooler water year, so I might as well say it. The A word.
The A word.
Albacore.
Oh.
Is it possible? Is it not possible? We've been predicting it. I've been, saying every year.
I think we've all been saying the last couple years, especially since, over the last 3 years, I've noticed that this normal yellowfin fishing that we've had when we had that first push of El Nino warm water come in, that yellowfin's slowly been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and getting further and further and further away. So with that being said, If the A word could happen, and I'll tell you guys what. If the A word does happen, I'm gonna be one happy operator.
Yeah,
one
right?
very happy operator.
I had
For
a guy put on our YouTube channel today. Ask most captains, and they hate albacore. So I sent back to him. Name me 3 captains who feel that way.
Yeah,
Because
I'm not one of them.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
And neither's anybody else, because while catching 180-pound bluefin is cool, sometimes you got one of those hooked and 29 people watching.
Exactly.
Whereas in an albacore bite, you got all 30 people catching a fish.
Exactly. And it's and you know how it gets. When it's good, it's good.
Yeah, they bite
fishing
nails.
100-pound in the corner with a piece of a hot dog or a bare hook, a sack tag, whatever you could make splash in the water. I mean, who doesn't love wide open fishing?
Oh man,
that's why
best.
we all do it. You know, we all have those guys that I'm a big game angler, and then you put wide open yellowfin fishing in front of them, and they're all smiles like a kid on Christmas.
Exactly.
You know, so nobody can deny the love they have for wide open fishing. So,
are you hearing anything about anchovy in the local water? Are the bait guys seeing more? Is it all sardines out at the receiver?
You know, I haven't been to the receiver yet this year. We're
finishing up maintenance.
We got a little bit more maintenance to do and our top side for Coast Guard. But once we're hoping to get things rolling in May is when we're going. But I haven't heard too much about the bait. I know the half-day guys that I talk to that around the docks, you know, they've been taking straight anchovy fishing that cod.
Oh, really?
And yeah, they've been loading up on anchovy. I mean, it's a little mixed, but it's, you know, 80-20 anchovy.
Oh,
so,
wow.
But I know that a lot of these guys that are fishing bluefin right now, they're fishing sinker rigs with sardines, you know, in the daytime, fly line sardines in the daytime. So who's to say what goes on, but last couple of years, early season, we've had a lot of bait in the water. Yeah. A lot of bait in the water.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, so who knows is what's going to happen with that, but I hope we just have a steady flow of sardine, because if we have nothing but bluefin for a while, it's going to be really hard to catch 60-80-pound bluefin with a 3-inch anchovy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Bait's been good the last couple of years, though. I mean, even steady through all the year, even when fishing's red hot. Those guys down there, Everingham, have done a great job at keeping us loaded up with what we need to get our job done.
You guys in San Diego, I'm amazed at the operations, the food, the quality of your crews.
Yeah.
With the exception of Scott Bucher. Just kidding, Scott. Just kidding. But everybody, I mean, it's such a great operation down there.
Yeah, I mean, we got to live up to our name as the world's biggest sport fishing fleet.
Best.
And best, you know. We are the founders of sport fishing, tuna fish, and stuff like that down there. So
do you take that seriously as a captain?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it seems
absolutely.
like it.
I pride in what I do, and the reason I do it, you know, is there's nothing better than seeing all 25 of your people with a big old smile on their face, as happy as could be, you know. Whether we knocked the shit out of them or caught 3 fish, you know, that's one thing I really pride ourselves, or me and my crew, we pride ourselves in customer service at the end of the day, because it's, you know, it's not cool to have 2 or 3 people that aren't happy when 23 of them are, or 22 of them are, you know. We want to make sure that everybody has the trip of their life, even if they weren't fortunate enough to catch a fish, you know. Anything that we can do to make their experience that much better. And when you have good fishing, what else do you need?
Absolutely. So you guys are out of H&M Landing. What kind of schedule do you have on the Constitution?
We have an open party schedule. You guys can, if you guys are interested, it's on H&M's website /Constitution. We have a lot of 2-day trips this year, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with the day and 3/4. Yeah, those are all 2 days now across all the board. So if you guys are booking a 2-day, make sure you look at the time of departure, because some of them are 7 p.m., some of them are 11 a.m. And the 11 a.m. is going to be like your day and 3/4 kind of trip. It's just, we're calling them 2 days now because we're, you know, in all reality, it's just a reverse 2-day. Yeah. You know, so we're just calling them 2 days, make everything easier. We have a lot of those. We have a couple 3.5 days this year. I think one of them sold out already in August. Those are popular trips in August, 3.5 days. We have a few 1.5s, but I'd say 2 and 2.5s are our main trips there, besides, our handful of 3.5 day trips. So if you guys are curious and you want to know what trips are what, head over to hnmlanding.com/constitution and get yourself on the boat this year.
That sounds good to me. How did you get into fishing? Who's responsible for getting this into your blood for the very first time?
Actually, this is a funny story. So I actually grew up out in East County, which is Alpine, California, which is about 35 minutes east.
Seems like a lot of guys come from there.
Yeah, so I was actually raised bass fishing, largemouth bass fishing my whole life, and the one that got me into it was my aunt. She actually lived on top of a lake out there in Alpine called Loveland. They actually just drained it, so it's no longer a real thing. But she got me into that, and then I did the bass fishing thing for a long time, fishing tournaments, and got my own bass boat and stuff like that. And then
you still do that?
Yeah. Bass fishing will always be with me forever.
Yeah.
That's my bread and butter fish. In the off season, that's what you'll find me at the lake.
Yeah.
So, and then from there, I started getting into a little bit of saltwater fishing, here and there, 3/4 days and stuff like that, going to the islands and calico bass and yellowtail and stuff like that. And then I actually ended up getting a job with a guy. He had a sheet metal business out of his house, and then he had his own boat, and I did commercial rod and reel with him for six years, and then that's when it really started taking off and going full speed. I mean, that's all I eat. Bass fishing was put on the back burner for a minute, and then towards the end, that's when all that big bluefin started coming around, and we were just fishing that big bluefin, and it was super, super cool to just be one of the first people to really crack the code on that kite stuff with it, private boat style. And
you were doing that?
Yeah.
Cool.
We were doing that in 2015.
Oh, wow.
2015.
So you were one of the first guys to be doing that.
We were.
How did you figure that out, or what led to that?
Well, the guy that I was fishing with at the time, Neil Barber, he was always long range fishing. He was the opposite of me. He was put into saltwater fishing at first, so that's what he did. That's eat, sleep, and breathe, and so he was always figuring out ways to be one step ahead of the game. And he's in a short clique with a handful of very hush guys, you know, and they all kind of started bringing the kite thing out into the small boat deal, and I was fortunate enough to be there to learn from him in that aspect of the yummy flyer thing, and then it turned into the dead flyer, then the California flyer. So I mean, we've watched it go and turn into what it is now, And then I've been with Keith Dennett for 6 years now. So I worked deck with him for 3 years, and this will be my 3rd year running the boat for him.
And when did you get your captain's license? How long ago?
2 years ago.
Nice.
2 years ago.
So did you see that when you got crazy about saltwater fishing? Did you say, I think I want to be a captain. I'm gonna start working at this.
Actually, no, I didn't. I was happy doing what I was doing, just rod and reeling for fun, because that was like me fishing.
Yeah.
Like I get to do all the fishing. This is where I'm at.
Into this.
And if I get to make a few extra bucks doing it, I mean, come on.
I've gone to heaven.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then things started, business started getting slow with us, and I was like, I'm going to go try and work on a sport boat and see how that goes. And then my first 2 years working on the sport boat, I was having a blast working deck. And then I was like, how could I make an extra few bucks? And then I decided, I was like, you know what, I want to drive one of these things.
Yeah.
So it definitely wasn't straight off the rip, but it was
a progression.
Yeah. I went from doing the commercial rod and reel to let's go try and work on a sport boat to I want to drive this thing now, and here we are today.
What were you rod and reeling? Rockeye?
No, we were doing sea bass, halibut, yellowtail, and that bluefin.
How much fun is that?
Yeah. The sea bass fishing, I mean, in San Diego, it hasn't been a thing for a long time, but the short clique of guys. You
had your little honey holes?
Had your little honey holes in the right place at the right time, a lot of our fish down there, as far as that sea bass goes, are all fin bait orientated.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because you haven't made squid down that way for a long consistently, right?
We've had like, random little teeny nests, like nothing you could float. It was all jig it. It's the only way you could catch it, and you were stoked if you made 20 pieces, you know. And that 20 pieces would get you through your swim through, and then you're like, okay, will it jig now? Will it jig? And so it's definitely, but I will say a lot of it is I probably caught more sea bass on a mackerel than I have a squid for sure down there.
And big tanker type fish?
Yeah. My biggest fish down there is 67 pounds.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Yeah, it was a good one. And, I'd say our average fish down there they're few and far between, don't get me wrong, but I'd say our average fish down there is around 40 pounds.
Oh, wow,
50 pounds, yeah. So I know you guys up here, you guys get those island fish, the 20 to 30 pound fish. And down there, I'd say our average fish are about 40, 45
those are
pounds.
nice. Yeah,
and then you get your standouts, your 50, 60 pounders in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since Catalina was like it was back in the day, too. It's been pretty dry up. It's been Channel Islands. The epicenter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's I've been seeing that fish in the last couple of years going on at Rosa in the springtime and June. I'm like, ooh, I need to get my hands on.
You better get out there, yeah.
I know, but the last few years we've been doing this bluefin thing down in San Diego so early, so it's like, all right, well, I'm going to go to work now and put the sea bass on the back burner, but I'll get up there one day.
All right, well, calm everybody down out there, Stephen, who thinks that there's not going to be a bluefin tuna season, it's late and everything else. It's just a different year, right?
It's just, and guys are catching limits right now.
They are.
And then there's fish for us down there in 1 day range. So, I mean, it's definitely, it didn't start in February it did the last couple of years.
The bar is so high.
Exactly, and I think we're going to have a phenomenal San Diego season.
Me too.
I think that yellowtail fishing that we've been having in July and June and July is going to be up to par because that stuff's been really good the last 3 years in a row. Like, big yellows on kelps, and it's limit style fishing in June.
I can't wait.
So it's I think we're gonna be in for a treat.
Me too. Me too.
Absolutely.
One more time again, how can we get on board the Constitution?
HMlanding.com/Constitution Sport Fishing, or Constitution on the schedule, and that'll give us all of our open party trips, and you can click on whichever one works for you.
You are a fantastic guest. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming up here. Now we're going to talk to your better half, Robyn. Robyn, it is so good to see you.
Same with you, Phil.
You and I go back a long ways.
Yes, definitely.
A really long way.
Yes.
Your father, him and I were dear friends. Mm-hmm. I fished a lot with him. And then he's got to be smiling down from the heavens above that you're a captain.
I definitely hope so. He's smiling down on me.
You know he is.
I hope so.
We just had Stephen on.
Yes.
I've never spent any time with Stephen at all, and after that, I never want to again in my life. No, I'm only kidding. He was fantastic.
He is.
I mean, I can see why you guys are an item together. Mm-hmm. You're both really nice people. And I can't wait to go fishing with this guy, man. He's freaking awesome.
I'm very fortunate. I got to work a couple trips with him last season. Like, I definitely learned a lot and saw his operation and everything. And he runs his crew, like, ship shape like that. Like, everything's, like, he doesn't have to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Like,
everybody knows.
I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
So, which makes it great. So, like, I get to learn from him. I get to learn from Keith this year, which is great. So, which brings that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be jumping ship this year.
Yeah, what's going on? You're going from, where were you last year?
So the past 2 years I've been on the Legend and the Excalibur working for the Taft family. Yes. And don't get me wrong, I learned a lot from Chuck and Steven and everything, but like I have to do what's best for myself and everything, and I'm very grateful what they've offered me for the past 2 years. They gave me my start in San Diego, but I'm going to be taking on a new endeavor with the Poseidon and the Constitution crew this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to be going back and forth on those two
I will
rigs,
be on the Poseidon this year, so yeah.
And tell me about the Poseidon. What does she do? She's an open party boat?
Definitely open party charter boat as well. They do anything from 1.5 days to 4 days. So Hunter Danette ran it the years previous, and this year Keith's going to be running it this year, which I'm very grateful. They're giving me this opportunity this year.
They're also out of H&M Landing?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, and you're a captain, so that's a real feather in your cap. How long have you had your captain's license?
3 years now.
And that's got to be awesome. So,
Yeah.
do you run the boat during the daytime, or are you night driver?
Primarily,
or
I'll be the second captain, and I'll fill in here and there if I need to relieve out their crew. So like I'll work galley, I'll work deck, if whatever they need me. I'm an all around person.
So I asked Steven how he got into fishing. I know the answer, but maybe some of our folks out there listening don't know the answer. What gave you your enthusiasm for fishing? Because, I mean, there's not a lot of ladies doing what you do.
No,
So what is it that makes you or gave you the interest to become a sport fishing captain? That's a great thing.
Well, I had a lot of influence from my dad. My
Right.
dad owned the Thunderbird for 8 seasons. We ran that out of here, out of San Pedro. Since then, he worked on boats in Redondo and a couple other boats here and there, getting to his captain's license. So we purchased the Thunderbird. I worked 8 awesome seasons with him as his deckhand, and I learned a lot of my basics and everything, and my work ethic from him. And ever since he passed away, I wanted to fulfill that hole in my heart, that I wanted to live up to what my dad wanted me, which wasn't supposed to be a sport boat captain.
Right.
But I love fishing. It's my passion. I've always loved it. Like I would do this for the rest of my life if I could.
What do you like most about it? Do you like the hunt? Do you like catching the fish? Do you like dealing with the people? All of it together?
That's hard to say.
Yeah.
All around, I love the adrenaline, the spur of the moment. Like you need to know what you're gonna do. Like when something happens, like you got to figure it out like that. So, but for me, it's the adrenaline. Making people happy is one thing, because customer service is the one that actually stands out more than anything. Then you can have a really shit day fishing, but if your crew and your personality comes out of it, like that means a lot more to me, to making sure that our passengers have like the best trip they can possibly have.
So here's a real sexist question for you. I know we're supposed to pretend like there's no differences between men and women, but generally speaking, women are more nurturing, more concerned about people.
They actually listen.
So do you feel like you put that at a high level? Like you're looking at a guy with his kid, and maybe it's their first time on the boat, and you're just paying attention, and you're like, this guy really has no clue what he's doing. He needs a little help.
Yeah.
And you go over and you tutor him and the whole thing.
It goes along with patience, having a lot of patience with, especially for novice anglers that come out with us, and like a lot of those guys are gonna have that. Oh, she's a girl. She's not gonna know what. They're gonna look at me and like, oh, look at this girl who has makeup, her nails done, and everything. And I'm like, but in all reality, I might know a little bit more than you, but still at the same time, like it's just the patience that comes with it as well. Like, yeah, women will listen to the deckhands, listen to the captains, like, but because I don't know, we're more patient.
I think so. I really do. So if I was going to bring 3 rods and reels on a trip this year to catch bluefin tuna, what do I want to bring?
Oh,
I didn't
God.
ask Steven that. I'm asking the expert here. Showing.
He would definitely say, he calls me Queen 30 pound because I live by 30 pound.
Right. And that's one rod that you definitely want to have.
Yeah, definitely. I love my 30 pound flyline setup with fluorocarbon with a circle hook.
Is fluorocarbon necessary?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. You might find that one school that's going to be very skittish and they're going to be line shy to something, and like that fluorocarbon will definitely help. But like for me personally, 30 pound with fluorocarbon with a circle hook, that's my go-to.
Yeah. Fluoro's really important. Then what do you go to? Like a 50, 60 pound outfit?
40.
Okay. So you're yeah.
I'm very much finesse fishing.
I'm like Steven.
I'm very finesse fishing, but like if they're biting 60, why not use 60? You know what I mean? But like other than that, like my 3 go-to rods, 30 pound fly line setup, and then you'll have I would go a little bit heavier for your sinker egg, and then your heavy jig.
2-speed, 100, 130 pound. You go with that. Okay. Yeah. I'm like this guy over here because my kids, we were out on the Amigo on Cortez Bank, yo-yo in the iron, and my kids look at me and they go, what are you fishing with, Dad? And I go, I'm fishing straight 100 pound with the yo-yo, man. And I go, if this fish gets any drag on me, I have failed as a man. And so I'm just like winding as hard as I can. I'm up in the bow, and who was it? Oh, Jeff Jessup was running the boat. And he looks out And I go, hey, I can throw this thing, man. I still think I can do it. He goes, you
Yeah,
sure?
100-pound, I'm sure you could.
Well, I was up in the pound. I'm 90 years old. Come on. And yes, so I threw it. And Jeff goes, you can still do it, man. But I love, it's funny. I don't know what it is, but I get more joy out of catching a fish on the 100-pound than like screwing around with it on the 20-pound. It's just so
I mean, yeah,
cool.
100-pound, it's fun. Yeah, like, who cares if I lose it, like, at this point.
But I totally respect what you're talking about. So when does the Poseidon get going this year?
Our schedule is online as of June. We'll start doing our open party schedule. We're chartered out throughout the entire season, and they'll end in mid-October.
Okay, but you're going to have open party dates available coming up?
Coming up.
All right, I asked Steven, I'm asking you. First of all, have you ever caught an albacore? You probably have.
I have.
Well, I mean, I'm saying that because that's a compliment that you're too young to have caught one.
Granted, I was 13 years old when I caught my first
Whoa,
albacore.
really?
My dad was the one who found it out offshore when we had Thunderbird out in Marine Del Rey.
He found albies? Mm-hmm. Oh my God! Tell me about that day. You were 13 years old. 13 years old. Your dad's running the Thunderbird. It sounds to me like no one was catching albacore at this time.
Not yet.
Did he go looking for albacore?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Keep going. I like it.
It's very. I only have very vivid memories of fishing albacore with him because those are probably like my prime. Like those are all my prime years and when I first started working on the boat and like fishing 20-pound with an anchovy with a split shot. There's nothing compared to it.
Yeah,
on a 4X true line, like on a true line of all rods. That's how I caught my first albacore.
Yeah.
So, like, I really hope they make an appearance this year. I would love to see an albacore. I'd love to have my daughter catch one.
Yeah.
Like, majority of people nowadays, they've never seen one.
I know. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I mean, is that how old we are, or just how long they've been gone, or?
Well,
it's just weird. Because, when I grew up, I couldn't imagine a world in San Diego without albacore. I mean, that was the staple. And it was July 4th. This was before we had a lot of the machinery we have now and everything. Guys would just like, oh yeah, it's July 4th, let's go to the 60 or the mushroom or the 10-10 trench or throw the jigs in the water and go like this. And more times than not,
Yeah.
Everybody was going into stops. But yeah, I mean, then they disappeared and San Diego not only survived, but look at it now. It's flourishing without albacore.
It is. Like, the past couple of years I've worked in San Diego, I've probably seen the best fishing I've seen in my entire life. Like, I've always made it an endeavor for myself to work in San Diego, and working there finally and doing my first season, I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Really?
Like, yeah.
You like it that much?
If I could, I would. Like, with daughter and being a mom and having a land job, I still have the land job regardless, but it gives me a balance a little bit.
Yeah.
So, like, regardless, one day if I'm going to be that stay-at-home mom one day, you know what I mean? Who knows? But still, like, I would do it for the rest of my life if I have to.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned work ethic just a moment ago. Take us through your day. Take us through an average day on a boat. How much sleep? When do you sleep? How much sleep do you get? What do you do? When do you eat? All of those things.
Running second?
Yeah.
So running second, like, we'll get the boat off the dock. It's pretty much I'm sleeping all day. I'll fish throughout the night. So I wake up about 6:30, 7 o'clock, get my bearings, see how the day went and everything, see where we are, and then I'll take my turn at the wheel and start looking for fish at night.
Uh-huh.
So it really depends. Like, it really depends on how the day went. And then this year, I'm really putting myself to the test this year to actually getting behind the wheel a lot more.
Good. How much sleep do you get on an average day?
I don't know what sleep is, Phil.
Yeah,
I don't know what sleep is.
I know, right? I'm still like, I was in that business. I did that. But now at my elderly age, I look and I just go like, some of these kids on the Pride out here, I went out with those guys. I swear to God, those guys didn't sleep 2 hours.
Yeah.
If they're not working the deck and glassing and doing, then they're up till 3 a.m. filleting fish.
Yep.
And then they're back up at 5:30 to, get the next day's fishing in. It's amazing.
Like, I give it to the guys who work deck and, like, stay up all day. Like, they're on their feet 12 to 18 hours a day, on top of that cutting fish on the way home.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of manpower, a lot of like a lot of physical movement. So it's like coming from that, I definitely feel the pain in my back and my legs and everything. So like I've done it all. Like I can definitely have sympathy a little bit, but at the same time, it's you're losing a lot of sleep at night.
Yeah, you are. No kidding. Yeah. And then you add to it this nighttime bluefin tuna fishing, and for the average passenger, it's like like my
even
kids,
the passengers then so too. Like
they
will be up with you till crack of dawn.
Yeah.
If that bite's still going.
Oh,
like I've been up till 3-4 o'clock in the morning till the bite finally shuts off, and it's just like, go to bed.
Right.
Go to bed.
Right. But that's hard on the crew now because now you've added nighttime fishing to an already rigorous job.
Definitely.
So it makes it even more difficult. I remember when albacore used to show up like 30 miles from Point Loma, and passengers would go, man, this is so cool. This is so bitchin'. And as a crew member, you're like, we're getting no sleep at all because we're going to fish till 5 in the evening and then be into the docks at 8.
All the way home.
Right. And there's just no way you're going to get any sleep. So what do you think about these bluefin, and do you have a feeling like we're really blessed and to have this kind of fishing? It's almost like long range fishing and 1 day range.
It is. Like I would never thought of it. Like even then, so when I came back into the sport fishing industry, I didn't expect for bluefin to be this close to home, or the size or the caliber of these fish have gotten to. Like back in the day, I like me seeing a 30-pound yellowfin is just like, oh my God, that's huge. You know what I mean? But now you're catching these 100 to 300-pound bluefin. It's just like, God, it looks so easy, but it really isn't. But like we definitely are in the best place to do it.
Yeah, we are. There's no question about it. What's your biggest bluefin?
168.
That's a nice one.
I have yet to top it. I can't top it.
Why? Do you want to? Would you like to get it too?
I would love to, but it's
you're too busy now, right?
Now I'm just too busy to even do it for my own pleasure.
I'm convinced I'm never going to catch it. I mean, kids that are 9 years old have bigger bluefin than me because I never walk on a boat anymore that I'm not videotaping. That's my new job is content.
Yep.
And so I put that first and foremost. Plus, if I'm on a 200-pound bluefin and some 10-year-old kid gets hooked up, I'm going to miss that whole memory.
Exactly.
That's my job right now. So I think I'm going to have to live with my maybe a 60-pound bluefin that I caught 30 years ago.
Even then, so my kid, your kid, doesn't matter. Like when Kylie caught her first sea bass, I threw my rod down so quick just to get that one.
Right.
Because am I ever going to see this again? Maybe. But her first one, I'm not going to miss it.
Yeah, because that's never going to happen again. That's a one-time deal. Right?
Yeah.
What's the accommodations like on the Poseidon? Is she how? Tell me about her dimensions. How
that boat? So 75 by 25.
Yeah.
That boat is definitely built for comfort for the passengers.
Yeah.
Like very spacious galley, great staterooms with all their bunk room and everything. It's so spacious. It was definitely built for comfort. Like everything, like they have all the state of the art equipment now put into the boat, and it's like I'm super excited for it. Like to actually like get to see and use like half the stuff that we have now. So. And
food wise.
We're gonna have the best cook on the boat.
Oh, you hired Scott Bucher?
No.
Oh, that's God.
So our galley cook this year is going to be Antonio. He worked with Steven on the Constitution, which
you stole Antonio from Steven?
Not stole.
Not nice.
Not stole, but but I have experienced his food.
Yeah.
I've also experienced his micheladas.
Oh, really?
Pretty dang good.
Yeah. You're a bartender, right?
I am.
Yeah, so you would know.
I give it to Antonio.
Really?
Yeah.
So so you're not just getting the usual grub on a sport boat. It sounds like it's elevated to a different level, perhaps.
It is elevated.
You still get the boat burger.
Oh yeah. You can still get your boat burger and everything. Like a lot of the trips nowadays are all meals included, so it's a set menu for majority of all the trips now. So, but you can still get your typical boat burger if you really want a boat burger, you know what I mean? But a lot of the food that we dish out, it's very elevated. Like Antonio definitely goes above and beyond. Like he makes his like homemade salsas, and he'll make pozole and chilaquiles in the morning.
Really?
Yeah. I'm so excited. I'm so sorry.
You know what? One thing I'm blown away with, I'm a pretty good cook. But presentation-wise, I'm just like, here, eat, here's your prime rib. Good luck. But
You would
these
think
guys
that
in
on the
San
boat.
Diego,
No, they do it up.
the presentation, it's like, what the hell? This is like a 5-star restaurant. Yeah.
Especially the long range fleet, like they go to a different caliber
Oh,
than
totally.
most boats, and it's just like, wow, like I want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. When do you guys get going on the Poseidon? When's your start?
June.
June.
We start in June.
Why is that? You're doing maintenance, or
We're still doing maintenance on the Poseidon. We're just trying to get all the boats all dialed in for the season. Make sure we're hitting every kink out of the boat,
That's
so
great.
we don't run into any snags throughout the season this year.
That's great.
Yeah.
And what kind of season do you in your heart feel like we're going to have? Another good one?
I think so. I feel like it's it's definitely pushed back a little bit. I feel like we're gonna have the same great season with bluefin, just more pushed back. We're still have the same great yellowtail and dorado fishing we've had. I just feel since the water's so cold now, it's gonna be pushed back.
Yeah, it seems like it, right?
Yeah.
But it'll still be good. I mean, Stephen mentioned when he was there that there's guys catching limits. There's been some really nice hits.
I know.
But it's just not had the consistency, and I think that's part of it is the wind. And the wind equals cooler water most of the time. I think it's just those things. Once we get through that, get out of this spring, I think it's going to settle down. And really
definitely. I definitely think so.
And I'm thinking maybe a good yellowtail year, although the islands have been a little off lately. There's been some cold green water down there.
The weather has a lot to do with
Yeah.
it. Like with a lot of the boats, the day boats that have been going out to the Coronados, it's been very hit or miss. Even now with the Rockfish opener and everything happening in April, like it's definitely taken a turn this year.
It's just this whole new thing. And having said that, there was maybe 3 weeks ago when the Supreme and the Liberty went into Colonette, and they both limited out on big yellows.
Yeah.
And then Booger's been doing okay there at the islands, up and down. But he's had some days of 25 yellows, and they're nice fish. 15
Yeah, they're
to
all
25.
really nice fish. Like that grade of yellowtail that rolled into there has been just great. Like me and him were talking throughout our off season, like we need to go fishing. Like when our yellowtail are going to start biting, like we want to go out and fish.
Yeah, exactly.
So
finally, we have these two weather phenomenons going on right now. We have the La Nina producing all this cool water, but in the equatorial region, they're talking about an El Nino. Robyn, wouldn't it be great to have that cold water albacore type of season, yellows, and then get pushed in that fall bite where we get yellowfin and dorado and wahoo at the rigs or something like that. That's a dream.
It's a dream. I'm hoping it'll become reality this year.
Me too.
I really do. Like, can you imagine how great this season would be? We would definitely be making a lot of money, but but even then, so like you're gonna be catching albacore in day and a half to 2 day range. Like that's awesome. Like how can you even say no to that?
Yeah, and as a crew member, that adrenaline rush and excitement is important for you too, to keep you engaged, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mentioned a moment ago the dad with his kid that looked like they don't know what they're doing. So what would you say to a dad who's watching the show, or a mom for that matter, and they have a kid and they've never gone fishing before? Is the Poseidon a good place for them to start? Can they walk up to you and say, hey, we have no idea what we're doing. Can you help us through this?
I mean, like, we take every day as a new, and, like, we get people from all over the country coming out fishing with us, regardless if they're a beginner or an expert, you know what I mean? So, like, even then, so if they just want to experience that type of trip, yeah, we're definitely going to have the patience enough to show you at least the legitimate like basics of how to fish this type of fish.
You can talk somebody through definitely an albacore, definitely a yellowtail, and probably a bigger bluefin, right?
Definitely.
You standing next to them, yeah, absolutely.
Like our crew is definitely there to be there as your coach to make sure you land that fish, regardless if something out of nowhere comes out of the way, someone gets in the way, tangles up. Like that's why our crew is always going to be there for you. And like I mean, it's definitely hard to say. It's always spur of the moment stuff happening. You never know what's going to happen on a sport boat.
Makes it so exciting, right?
Yeah.
People want to get on the Poseidon. What's the best way to do it? You can tell everybody.
You guys can go to H&M Landing/Poseidon. You can also go on the website, push on Poseidon. It'll pull up all of our open party scheduling. That's great about having both boats. So if you don't see a trip that coincides with the Poseidon, you can always look at the Constitution as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, and you two are awesome. So 2 things before you go. Number 1, your father definitely is smiling down on you and really proud of you. I know that for a fact.
I hope so. I hope
Number
he
2,
is.
should we get Steven in here now? Why don't you walk in here? We'll get you two together. You're going to have to talk into her mic. But
Okay.
how is it to be?
She knows I don't bite.
How is it to be in the business together?
It's. Go ahead. What would you say? I'm coming in to step on your toes.
It's very hard to be in a relationship is with this type of industry because one of the other is always going to be gone, especially having that significant
That's
other.
what's kept my wife and I together for so many years.
Like
She's
especially
in Costa Rica all the time.
especially for one to understand the type of work that we do.
Yeah.
So with us both doing what we both do, like, I mean, I feel like it will be easy this summer.
I know I'm going to be calling you, and I wake up in the morning and say, "How many fish did you catch?"
A little.
Well, we caught this many.
Are you guys competitive? You should. That'd be funny.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
We're
hate to
very
tell you,
competitive,
Robyn, he's
yeah.
going to beat you with a 100-pound every time. I'm only kidding you.
Queen 30-pound here.
All right, and the final question is, when are the wedding bells?
Ugh.
Don't ask. Don't.
You don't want me to go there?
No, don't go there.
That's him.
That's
You know,
him.
when the time's right.
When
the time's
that
right.
is a
That's-
good answer.
We're in no rush. We're just enjoying ourselves right now.
Well, I couldn't help but put you on the spot.
I know. And everybody does.
That's good podcasting material, right?
Exactly. Everybody does. And, I think a lot of people see us together as that's a good thing for the both of us at
Yeah,
the
I think
same
so.
time. So
Yeah.
when the time's right, the time's right.
Well, you guys.
As long as she plays her cards right.
I think I have.
I love this guy, man. He's right on. You guys were great guests.
Perfect.
Constitution, Poseidon should be great. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
you guys.
Phil.
Say goodbye to everybody out
Bye,
there.
guys.
See you guys this season. Come on out.